Okay, people, we're back after that short break. Our last contact session in Cape Town on property valuation 2. So let's continue. We're busy with the insurance calculation, and we have done the calculation up to where we have determined the replacement cost of this property as at, say, today's date. Now, so now, people, as I said, we can all, common sense tells us, if this building burns down tonight, we will not be in a position tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock to start rebuilding. No, it's going to take time to be in a position to start rebuilding, and we call that period our documentation period, okay, or pre-contract period. In other words, this is now all the sort of red tape and paperwork phase. We will get out the assessors. They will come and have a look. If they decide to pay out the insurance amount, then we can start to demolish the building. We can then submit plans at the municipality. We can start putting our construction team together. We can appoint architect. He will be overseeing this project. We will sort of appoint our professional team. Quantity surveyors if the project is big enough, and so forth. So you can all appreciate that it will take some time. We call it the documentation period, and in our example it tells us it's going to take us 5 months to get to a position where we can move onto site. Okay. People, now what you need to know is we have 2 different building cost monitors to our disposal. The one is the BER Building Cost Index, and they work from Stellenbosch, the Bureau of Economic Research Building Cost Index. And they are our best indicators of what is happening to building prices over time. People, an index, go and have a look, Google on index, house price index, anything like that. You will see it is a column of figures. And all of that, in fact, I have uploaded the Reuters report, I think 2019 one for you. Go and have a look right at the last page about. There is an example of both the Haylett formula and BER Building Cost Index. We are going to use both of these in our insurance calculation. Now, the BER Building Cost Index, people, is literally columns of figures that relate to each other in terms of time. No. So we can see how did house prices change from April 2009 to August 2019, if that is what we want to calculate. Okay. And the BER Building Cost Index includes the profit margins of the contractors. In other words, the builder. It includes his profit margins. So it is interesting, in times where there's lots and lots of work, then those contractors will put in fat profit margins because they actually don't want the work. They are so busy that they actually don't want to work, so they are just quoting any price in the hope the client will go away. No. In opposite times, when there's no work, I remember I was at a construction company when there was no work. You know, there were literally no profit in those prices. They just wanted to keep the company, you know, working. No. So then they will slice that profit margins down to the bone just to stay competitive. Okay. So that is how it works. So the Haylett formula will compensate the contractor for increases in material and labor prices, but it will not touch on the contractor's profit. So it excludes the contractor's profit. We'll get to that now and then I'll explain it better. Okay, so this is literally just looking at building cost inflation. Nee, your BER, building cost index. So if we, people, remember, if it takes us 5 months from where we calculated this amount, 5 months to get onto site, can you appreciate that 69 million is not applicable anymore? It's now probably 70 million and something. Nee, because of building cost inflation. That 69 million is now not enough to replace our building. We have to cover ourselves for building cost inflation over this documentation period. Nee. So we are saying, and this is what you need to know. You need to know that the BER, building cost index, is applicable during the documentation period. So then you go and look, what did I say is BER building cost? 9% per annum. But people, there we have our first problem. It is documentation period. It is over 5 months. But can you see we have a 9% per annum? So we have a problem. We have to convert the 9% per annum, we have to convert to a monthly figure. Okay. Okay, so let me just take you through this step by step. Okay. People, I always say with this sum, because students say, really, all of this for only 3 marks. I just show you the correct way, how you corrupt it when you are sitting there in your own office one day. You know, it's not my business. I'm just going to show you the correct way. You'll probably do all of this on Excel. You can type in the correct formula or go and search for the correct formula and do it. But I'm going to show you step by step the correct way. Okay, and it is a little bit complicated, but only the first or second times. Okay, so we have 9% per annum, but we need to change this 9% per year building cost inflation to a monthly rate. So I just always say, you can follow me on your calculators, I just say 9 divided by 100, because that is what percent is. Cent like in cents and rands, like in centurion, like in century, hundreds. 9 divided by 100 gives me 0.09. Then for my formula, I must add 1. Then I say 1.09 to the power of, open bracket, 1 divided by 12, close the bracket, equals. And then it gives me 1.007207323. Now people just leave the, okay, and then we say minus 1 again, because we only want the rate. Leave that in your calculator just like that. Hey, don't fiddle with it. In the example, I must say it's very confusing. I give it to you as percent, so I take out the first 2 zeros. Just keep it in your calculator just like this. Now you say times 5, because this is the monthly rate, this long thing, 0.007207323 is 9% per annum calculated into a monthly rate. So we'll say this long number times 5 times 69,768 million gives me 2514. Let me just check that I'm doing it correctly. Yeah. 2514 203. Can you see, people, if we did not do this escalations in inflation, we would have already been underinsured with 2.5 million rand. No. Let's say we went and we insured this building for 70 million rand. No. Now it burned down. Then they would have said, no, you're underinsured with about 2.5. That's not the end. So in that 5 months, building costs will go up with another 2.5 million rand in that 5 months on your replacement cost. So after 5 months, it's going to cost you 2.5 million rand more than what you thought it's going to cost you. Does it make sense? So you have to add 2.5 million rand to your replacement cost. That is just to cover you for the period that it's going to take you to get ready to start building. We're not even building yet. Okay. All happy with that. Now we get to, let me just see what it's called here, construction period. Construction period, we are saying it's going to cost us 10 months to replace this building from when we are on site. Construction period. $10 months. Now, people, you must know you must switch over to Haylet. And Haylet index is 6% per annum. Sorry, 10 months. Again, the same problem. We have months, and our index is per annum. Okay. What I want to explain to you now with regards to Haylet. Remember what we said? The Haylet index, go and have a look under terminology. There's 2 definitions for BR, building cost index, and Haylet formula. The Haylet formula excludes the profit margins of the contractor. So how the Haylet index works is, they call it work groups. For each and every different component on a building site, there's a work group. Like, say, for instance, woodwork and joinery, concrete and formwork. What else is there? You name it. Yeah, because now, can't now think. But, say, for instance, steel work, anything like that. Different groups of items has got different inflation rates applicable to them. So remember, people, if you are now going into a big project, say like a hospital or whatever, can you understand that when that contractor prices the bill of quantities, people, a bill of quantities is literally a document that states all the different components in a building, so that when that tender goes out and it comes back, the client is sure that the contractors have priced apples with apples. Because if there's no bill of quantities, no list of what is needed to build this building, the one contractor can say, but I've included a helicopter landing pad on top of the hospital. No, the other one didn't. Then you can't compare the prices that you get back. But if there's a bill of quantities, they just price those quantities. So it will say 500 cubes. Concrete is measured in cubes. No, 500 cubic meters of concrete. Then you will say for one concrete cube, I am pricing it at 500 rand, so times 500 cubes, and this is my price. You will literally, as the contractor, only price what is in that bill of quantities. People, they will literally split it. They will say 3 blackboards, this is the length, this is the height. Nee, times 50 classrooms throughout the building comes to say 870 green blackboards. Nee, they will specify it so that when you as a contractor price it, that you can't price it on an inferior product. This is the exact blackboard that we want. They will even, if there's a, Pepla, if there's a, they will sell, say, Pepla, this size green board. Nee. So that the contractors are all pricing the same. The only difference in the end should be profit. Nee, profit margins. That is the only difference in price. I want a bit more because I don't really need the job. It would be nice. The other guy hasn't worked in a year. He is really desperate. Nee, so he brings his profit margin down. And it's for the client to then decide, okay, here's the prices. Who are we going to choose as our preferred contractor? Nee. So can you see, people, we are now 5 months later. Nee, before we even start. So already the contractor, in his bill of quantities, he priced concrete and doors and windows at the price that is different from the price that he's going to pay by the time he's ready to put in that window. And the Hylett formula says it's nothing less than fair to compensate the contractor for the actual prices that these components cost when he builds it or when he goes and buys it. So each and every month, as the contractor submits his monthly claim, he will build, and then if it's a big contract, then both the contractor has got a quantity surveyor. They're like the accountants of the building industry. The contractor has a quantity surveyor, and the professional team has got a professional quantity, the client has got a professional quantity surveyor. So the two of them will go on site, and they will literally measure people. So many square meters of brickwork was built, so many cubes of concrete was poured, because they have the total figure in that bill of quantities, and they can measure you have done 62% of the concrete work. So they can calculate what amount must be paid out to you. It's not a thumb-sucking, random. It is calculated based on the percentage of work done according to the bill of quantities. Okay. And then that claim of the contractor will be adjusted with a Hylett formula to compensate him for the increases in prices of products, of materials, and labor. And so you will be compensated at a higher price. Okay. To compensate the contractor for building cost inflation. But he's not going to be able to change his profit, people. If by the time he gets on site, he's got lots of work, I'm sorry, when you quoted 5 months ago, when you were hungry and you really didn't allow a profit, we're not going to allow you to take profit now. You know, that is the price that you said you'll do this for this construction project, and you must keep to that. He's only allowed to be compensated for increases in material and labor prices. His profit stays the same. So that is what you must know. Only during the construction period, we work on the Hylett formula to compensate the contractor for real increases in prices. Now, you'll see the Hylett index, they forecast. They forecast what is going to happen to building prices. But as the time goes by, they will change it to reflect the real, what really happened. People, so again, we will do the same thing to get to an annual, to get to a monthly figure. We will say 6 divided by 100 plus 1 to to the power of brackets 1 divided by 12 people. We want to know what is it per month. 1 divided by 12 months. Close the bracket, equals minus 1. It gives us 6% per annum is 0.0048675. Okay. Just leave that in the calculator as it is, people, and here you must also know that there is again the smoothing factor. What we are saying is each and every month the contractor can claim compensation for the building work, the construction work that he has done. So we are again saying we are assuming that he is claiming the same amount over the 10 months. No. Yes. Oh, yes, I can. Okay. Let's say it's here. No? We say the Haylet index is 6%. No. So 6% is 0.06. I always say divide by 100 because some students still write it as say 0.6 people. That is 60%. No. So just to make sure, divide it by 100. Okay. Then we say plus 1 gives us 1.06. And because we want the 6% per annum changed into 1 monthly rate, we say to the power of 1 divided by 12. And that will give us 1.0048675. And then you say minus 1. People, otherwise, if you keep the 1 in, you are going to repeat that sort of main amount there. Gives us 0.0048675. Okay. And that is our monthly rate. People, don't let the notes confuse you, because I've done it in Excel, and I've just given this as a percentage. No, so the first 2 zeros will be missing. It will be 0.48%. No, but here it's just given as a rate, not a percentage. So it's still the same. So that's why I'm saying just keep it like that. Don't change it to percentage. It's not necessary. So just keep it like this in your calculator. But now, don't forget the smoothing factor here as well. We are saying the contractor is claiming the same amount over the whole 10 months of construction period. So that's why we bring in the smoothing factor times 0.6. And then, people, it is our replacement cost plus our documentation period. No. So you can somehow say times bracket 69,768 plus 2,111. Okay, it differs a bit. Yeah, please, people, do not be, discouraged or whatever if it's not the same. I just do my stuff on Excel. No. So Excel, it's all to do with these roundings. Okay. So if it's more or less the same, that's fine. I just concentrate on your workings to make sure that you have the formula right. Okay. If I now do it on my calculator, I get 2. Did anybody of you also do it? Okay, no, that's wrong word. Yeah, we shouldn't actually. Is this old notes, this? Oh, it isn't. Yeah. No, people. Yeah, sorry. This is that plus that. Nee. You must add the two together times your monthly rate times 0.6. Okay. Did anybody else do it as well? 2,11102. Okay, let's quickly do it again. Yeah, I get 2,111,102. Looks a bit small, Matuma. Okay. For the escalation in construction costs during the construction period, people, you have to apply your replacement cost plus your escalation in contract prices for your documentation period. Okay. Ach, my word, times 10. I forgot it. Obviously, we're doing it over 10 months. Nee, I thought this looks a bit 2, 3. That's same. Okay. That is what we left out. Nee. So it will be our replacement cost plus our escalation in construction cost times 10 months times our monthly rate times 0.6. So what I'm saying is, even if you decide this is too long, I'm not going to use it, I'm just going to use 0.0048. Nee, people, then you'll get a different answer. Nee, so that's why I'm saying just keep that amount in your calculator and you just say times 10 months times 0.6 times brackets this plus this, close the bracket. Nee, then you get 2,113,000. 111,023. Okay. So people, can you see the building cost increases with another 2 million rand while we are building this building? Okay, so that takes us up now to 4.5 million from our original nearly 70 million rand. But we are not finished yet. Now we're coming to the last part, and that is our insurance period. I am not going to tell you anything about the insurance period. You must know that there is still an insurance period. An insurance period is always for 12 months, and it's always using the Hewlett formula. 9% per annum. But yeah, so we keep it in a compounding mode, so we are going to use our 9% as a monthly figure. And we have already calculated it. It is 0.007207323. So we'll just use that one again. And now we need to add all of these. 6 million. Sure, look where we are ending up in terms of our insurance amount. $80,827,000. People, can you see we would have been literally 11 million underinsured if we did not do the escalations in contract price. I also saw some of the students with that trying to calculate the insurance operating cost. They will also just put in a one-liner here. I think it's just insurance at BER for 12 months. But that will still give you will still be underinsured with about 4.5 to 5 million rand. Yeah, so it's very important, people, that you show me these increases in inflation over the building period, as well as 12 months. As I said, I'm not going to give you this one. You must know it, and you must know it's over 12 months. That's a standard insurance practice. Okay. So in the end, let's say you'll probably insure this building for 81 million rand. Also with your reports, people, you may round off those values. Nobody's going to buy a building at 24,624 rand and 20 cents. Round it off to whatever. If you're paying that couple of millions, no one is going to squeal about a 10,000 here or there. Okay. Okay, so this is in terms of your insurance. People, remember, you are not insuring it for a better product. You are insuring the building as it stands there. To try and replace it. Obviously, it's going to be replaced with something brand new, but you just want to replace that building as is. Another thing for you to remember, people, I see professional valuers also use this incorrectly. People, if we've got stunning industrial space, triple volume, that is what you are looking for in industrial properties, is volume. Say 6 meters, 12 meters high, we're talking about double volume, triple volume. We call it prime. If it is an old building, people, it's got 3 floors, and it's a concrete framed structure. You typically get in your older industrial neighborhoods. We call it secondary because the height from floor to ceiling is probably 3 meters or 4 meters. You can't really stack things there. Then there's stairs or a lift to the upper floors. Nobody wants to get upstairs with boxes of stock. So the market will say, I'll give you 35 rand for ground floor. I'll give you half of that for the first floor. I'll give you nothing for the rest of the floors because I don't want to use it. Do you hear what I'm saying? So if you are looking at a building like that with a concrete frame structure, people, you are not going to calculate the replacement cost because if that industrial building burns down, you will demolish that concrete frame and you will put up a steel portal frame, like we see industrial buildings today. Steel frame and clad it with IBR sheeting. And that is our industrial building. So your insurance calculation will be based on a modern building like that. Because the cost to insure this obsolete industrial building is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be way expensive, and if something happens to it, you will not replace it with the exact same structure. You will replace it with something modern that will cost you less. Does it make sense? No. Okay. Okay, people, I will then commit to send you 6 or so, 5 or 6 examples of the mix between depreciated replacement cost as well as the industrial, like we did this morning. Industrial, and I will give you those 6 examples that you can practice with. And you then, if I give you a question, you must pick out the correct variables. If I ask you market value, you will include depreciation and you will include land. If I ask you insurance, you will include demolition cost. You will not include the land, people, because the land, except for a tsunami, the land will still be there. No, so the land does not come into. This is actually the only question that I mark negatively. If you include land for me somewhere in an insurance calculation, I will say -1. Okay, because then it tells me you still don't know the 2 methods from each other. No. Also, with insurance, people, your house can or your property can look like a dog, but if something happens to it and they replace it, everything will be brand new. Okay. So, no depreciation will come into an insurance calculation. It will just be brand new. Yeah. So, make sure you understand the 2 calculations, and I will then ask you in the September test, I will cover both a little bit of income cap, but then also the chapters on depreciated replacement cost and insurance. Yeah. So that you also know the theory around both of them. Also, what will be in the test is the 4 valuation methods. Okay, so please make sure that you are now in a position that you can distinguish what type of property will attract what valuation method. No, that to me is quite important. Any other questions that you have with regards to the September formal class test? Yeah. I am planning to have that early in September. So what are we talking about, say, 2 weeks' time? No. Yeah, so I'll probably be busy here tomorrow still, but before the weekend I will upload those examples that you can start. I will also put an announcement on Blackboard so that you can start with that. Is it already there? Yeah, so you have that, okay, we can talk about that. Okay, people, then all the best, good luck, and we'll talk again. Goodbye.